Hi everyone, my name is Mackenzie Karras, and I'm taking History 1010, and for our midterm we had to talk about the Claudette Colvin story, so here we go. To start off, I want to tell you guys just a little bit about her background before actually getting into her story and her impact. So, to start off, she was born on September 5th in 1939 in Montgomery, Alabama. Kind of a fun fact about her is that she was adopted. Her father did yard work, and her mother was a maid. She went to school at Booker T. Washington High School, and they also said that she grew up in a really poor neighborhood, so it was kind of hard for her to get around, I guess. So it also said, the reason why she took buses is because her parents couldn't afford a car. So now we'll get to the bus story. So at the age of 15, she was riding the bus home from school, and it said on the article that I also had that day at school she was learning about civil rights movements and everything like that. So then I feel like that kind of not impacted her, but I guess it did. It kind of motivated her to stick up for herself on her way home. So on her way home, she was riding a bus, and as more and more people got on, so back then, I guess I should explain this too. So back then, the white people used to sit in the front of the bus, and then the colored people used to sit in the back. Well, there was a line in the middle of the bus that would cut, I guess, into sections. And so then when more and more white kids got on the bus, the colored people were forced to be sent to the back of the bus, either standing in the aisles or sitting on laps in the back of the bus. So she was sitting down, and as more people got on the bus, especially this white woman, she got on the bus and asked her for her seat, and she said no. And so then, of course, the white woman was mad that she wouldn't give up her seat. And so then she told the bus driver. Well, then the bus driver demanded that Calvin and 3 other colored women go to the back of the bus. And so then the 3 other colored women, they moved. And of course, Calvin said no. And so then the bus driver called the police. The police showed up and arrested her. So then, I guess another fact of this is that the incident happened 9 months prior, to the Rosa Parks incident. And then when Calvin got home, her mother said this, Calvin said this about her mother, really. My mother told me to be quiet about what I did. She told me to let Rosa be the one. White people aren't going to bother Rosa. They like her. And then I'll explain more in further slides why they liked her more than Calvin, but we'll go from there. So what happened after she was arrested? She was arrested and sat in jail for several hours until her minister actually paid her bail. That's when she went home. After she went home, she was talking to her mother about the whole incident and was not stirred up about it, but she definitely, it definitely left an impact on her. And so then Calvin was charged with disturbing the peace, violating segregation laws, and assault. She had to go to juvenile court, and this specific court was the Montgomery Circuit Court, and her case took place on May 6, 1955. All charges were dropped, but she was still put on probation. So then after she finished with her court case and everything like that, Calvin did file a lawsuit with the NAACP. And then at the time, Rosa Parks was in fact the secretary. The NAACP wanted to use Calvin's story, but didn't think she was fit just because of her age. And after she got out of jail, between the time when she got out of jail and after her filing with the NAACP, she was pregnant. And so they thought it'd be bad, bad publicity to have her represent the civil rights movement just because she was 15 years old and she was pregnant. And so then the NAACP had Rosa Parks recreate the bus incident. So with this statement, it's kind of controversial, I guess. So in a couple articles, I read that the NAACP did in fact have Rosa Parks recreate the bus incident, but then in other ones it says that they didn't particularly have her recreate it, but they definitely encouraged her, I guess. And so then Calvin's story doesn't take away from the impact of Rosa Parks. And so the reason behind this, I think, is Rosa Parks still had to be the one to represent the civil rights movement. So that still takes a lot of courage and to be super brave to put yourself out there like that. And so then Calvin left an everlasting impact, the court case Browder versus Gale. She was one of the 4 plaintiffs in the case. It was her and 3 other colored women. The court ruled that Montgomery's segregated bus system was unconstitutional, so they deemed that the buses actually went against the 14th Amendment in the Constitution. And so then Calvin and other women fought to end segregation, especially Rosa Parks too. And so then this quote is from Fred Gray. He was the attorney of Calvin when she first got sent to jail, like before her case and everything, and like he represented her. This is what he said about Calvin, like going towards Rosa Parks. So Claudette gave all of us moral courage. If she had not done what she did, I am not sure what she would have been able to mount the support for Miss Parks, her former attorney Fred Gray. And so then in another article also, it said that Calvin actually stated that she wanted Rosa to do it over her just because, so this is another reason why I said in like the previous slides I was talking about why people really liked Rosa over Calvin and why it probably was a better fit for Rosa Parks to represent the civil rights movement instead of Calvin. So it's not because Calvin was like more brave or anything like that, because both women were brave and we can't get over that fact. But at the time, Calvin was 15 years old. And of course, Rosa Parks was older. She was more educated. And so coming back to this quote that Calvin actually stated, she stated that she wasn't black enough in order to represent the civil rights movement, and that it was probably a good idea to have Rosa Parks represent the movement instead of her, just because she thought people would like her more instead of, a 15-year-old. Back then, 15-year-olds, people didn't frown upon 15-year-olds, but I'm sure you guys know, like, society looks at 15-year-olds as being unexperienced. So for a 15-year-old to stand up in such a big movement is probably really detrimental, I guess. So then my question to the class, do you think the civil rights movement would have been as successful as it was if Claudette Colvin was a representative of NAACP, the civil rights movement, instead of Rosa Parks? Just so you guys can go on there and tell me what you think. And these are my sources. Thank you.